Or it's not time to do that yet.
Are you recording to your computer? Because then that won't bother on mine then.
I think so.
Okay.
Wherever these recordings are set to record.
Somewhere.
Somewhere.
Oh, I can record to the cloud too.
Might be a safe backup.
Yeah. Or do you want to get started?
Yeah. Beans, what Tim said and mine records, and I'm glad that Mike didn't go in his bathroom, because that's all I didn't see.
I'm on my way there right now.
Oh, no. Wash your hands for 20 seconds. And Terry, you're back on, but you're muted.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. And Tim's muted. Okay. So I guess the only one that maybe doesn't know the rest of, but for Tim Dunkel's point of view, why don't we introduce ourselves so Tim knows who's all on there. So myself, Randy Harden.
Greg Olson with the Northwest region of the ATV Association.
Rob McConnell, I'm the VP and the Southwest Regional Coordinator.
Hank Glasneal with Board of Advisors.
Gary Copeland, Northeast Regional Coordinator.
Tim Dunkel with the Wisconsin Coalition of Four-Wheel Drives.
Brian Harden, World Legal Four-Wheel Drive.
Adam Harden, WATFA.
Mike Bees, WATFA.
Okay. Thanks for everybody taking the time. Since our last conference call, things have changed dramatically and quickly. So at the time of our last meeting, our challenge was the hotel wasn't going to cancel, but because it was, let's see, was it 250 back then? Yeah, it was 250 at our last meeting. Then it went to 50, and then of course now it went to 10 and the governor's proclamation. So there's no problem. They've already canceled because again, they can't hold it. We can't hold it. So they canceled it. Now, folks, here's the important thing. They said they would start canceling the rooms if a person went under the block. So I know I made our room reservations under the block, and I haven't gotten an email saying, hey, your room's been canceled, but they said they automatically did that. So there's a person, her name is Jenny, what's her name, Wurzba. She said if people want to check with her to make sure, so on our press release, I'll put her contact information. So if people want to double check to make sure their room has been canceled.
What's her name?
Jenny, Jennie. Last name Wierzba.
God, okay.
So Jane called the hotel and canceled our reservation this morning.
Okay.
So it had not previously been canceled, but she did that personally, just FYI.
Well, yeah, that's concerning to me because they said they already did it. So,
Yeah.
Brenda. So anyway, that's why I think we have a backup and just say, hey, call up there to be sure or contact this person. And then for people that are at other hotels, obviously that's on them. So we'll put that in the press release. So Adam, let's go ahead and go to the next slide there. And this was the contract there, per our agreement. We're canceling it, which on the 17th, and then I had to sign for it, which we originally signed back in July of 19. But the key sentence here coming up, in an effort to assist, the opportunity to rebook at no charge. This next sentence is the one that I don't think any of us understand all the way. The replacement event must be of equal or greater value to the hotel. So I think what that means is number of room nights the people stay and a number of food, I think our volume of food was a minimum of, I think it was $3,400 or $3,500. And I think it was 40 room nights or something like that. So it was in our contract. But under the circumstances, I can't imagine being all that tight on it. But
Well, the other,
Bill will work with us regarding availability and pricing as soon as we're ready to commit to rebooking, which she wants us to give them some dates by the end of the month.
that's pretty fast.
And there's numerous people or numerous conference customers that they're dealing with. So they said, well, let's just do it on a, one by one, let's start it. I think they just wanted to put the date. So, I mean, who the heck can predict what's going to happen? Will this thing be over by May, June, July, August? I don't know. So here's the options as Adam has on the screen. We need to get into summer. Now we know that's low attendance rate for weekends as our members will be out on the trails, which is why we always did this in the spring before the trails typically opened up. So one of the ideas that I was just brainstorming and I needed to ask you folks on this meeting, I guess, like I say, we'll see if there's any weekends open in the summer, but my bet there probably isn't. So the thought was, what could we do if we did a Sunday night, Sunday afternoon, Sunday night, Monday? Now, granted, people that are working, we understand that's going to be an issue, but over on our ATV side, we've been looking to schedule what we call a strategic planning meeting. Now, Mike, you've been to one of those where we invite the manufacturers and the land managers, whatnot. So if we typically they can make it. If we did that on a Tuesday, hopefully they would come in on a Monday and spend the night, pick up some room nights there. So that was one brainstorm that I just throwing out there for at least to watch with folks to understand. It might be something, I don't know, on the four-wheel drive side. How the heck do we know people would come on a Sunday night and a Monday and take off of work? That's a lot to ask of people, but
Yeah, well, I think a lot of our members that would be coming for the full day on Saturday, some of them were coming on Friday anyway. So like for myself, I was going to take vacation on Friday.
okay.
Whether it's Friday, Monday, to me, doesn't make a lot of difference, but it's
Okay.
definitely a concern for sure.
So that may work is what I'm hearing you say. So it'd be a Monday versus a Friday.
Yeah, I would wonder on that scenario, would we have when would we have public or, political representatives and so forth attend?
Well, the government agencies that we had coming, it would be on that Monday then. That would be assuming that they can make it. That's going to be the hit and miss on all this. But Sunday is kind of what our Friday was going to be. We come in, travel in Sunday, have the reception, start setting stuff up again if they got room in there. And then Monday would be what our normal Saturday was going to be with our workshops and whatnot. And then from there, like I say, if on the ATV side we wanted to plan our statewide strategic meeting that I've been putting off, we could do that on Tuesday. And then if other people want to come on Monday from the manufacturers, they could.
Could we do our annual meeting, that business part of it Sunday night possibly?
That's a thought.
That way Monday would be our partners and then Tuesday, the strategic meeting, and have it all wrapped up that way.
Yeah, that's a good idea. If this concept works, this is just a brainstorm this morning, so I like that idea. Ryan, you agree with Tim? I mean, assuming whether it's a Monday or Friday, all we can do is try, I guess.
Yeah, at this point, we're in uncharted territory, so it would be throw it on the wall and see if it sticks, I guess. I prefer to not be gone on Mondays due to it's a heavier service day, but
Right.
if that's our only option, I guess that's the only option.
I see Luana jumped on. think you're on the mute, Luana. There you go.
Hello. I'm not sure. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you now.
Okay. I don't know why I've got all this static on it. I'm not sure what I did to not have any picture, but so be it. And then I'm picking up that you are doing a Sunday, looking at a Sunday, Monday, or
Well, it's a
Saturday,
possible,
Sunday?
it's a possible option.
Mhm.
And to catch up on it real quick, the theory is that their weekends, I know to schedule these things, they're booked up pretty tight, and they'll be rescheduling other people from the next month or two. So if this is an option, we'll try for the Friday, Saturday, Sunday and see if there's any weekends that work. But if they didn't, I wanted to have a fallback plan. So that's why I was asking about this. And then if we do this, guys,
Hang up and I'll call back in.
we could also do a strategic dealer meeting. I think that's kind of what I meant when Adam put that on there, whether it's a dealer or the manufacturer. So, all right.
Well,
So,
so to match the hotel though, we would need Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, correct? Because it'd be Friday, Saturday, Sunday is what we'd have to replace.
yeah.
We could technically do the strategic meeting on Tuesday.
Well, that's what I was planning. That would be the Tuesday. Yeah.
Would sometime later in the year work? Maybe like after season, or does that get too late for you guys?
Just like everything else, this is like Ryan said, it's in uncharted territory.
What month were you looking at, Randy, or didn't you really have one in mind?
I don't have one in mind, but a lot of it's going to be dependent on what the hotel tells us is available, I would guess. So
I know we have the end of June VIP ride at Tigerton that we definitely can't schedule over. And then you got your VIP ride at Syracuse in September.
Yeah.
So those are pretty much the only real dates we can't really hit, right?
yeah, and I think the biggest, like I say, we got to give them some dates and see what they have available. I just them asking us to give them some dates by end of this month is guessing what's going on. So I mean, if we put a date up and it doesn't work, we'll keep trying. I think they just want us to start trying.
Well, I think that, asking the sooner the better, because the dates are only going to fill up more as time goes on. So if we figure something out tonight, at least make an inquiry tomorrow and see what we might be able to snag. We probably got better luck getting something tomorrow than we will in a week.
Yeah. So Ryan, when is the VIP? Your guys' VIP, right? What date? June?
The end of June 26th or 25th. It's our only major ride at Tigerton that we're promoting. Now, I know, Tim, you got your Apple Valley Farms, the Great Northern Trail Ride. That's your major event, right?
Correct. That is the third weekend in August.
I mean, would anybody be opposed to doing an annual meeting at the end of the annuum? Do it in November? And then just...
What I worry about with that is then next year we have our next annual meeting in April. That's only a few months apart. Are we going to have enough different information to present?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think that'll be an issue.
Okay.
6 months is 6 months. A lot happens in 5 days right now.
Right.
Well, my thought was at the end of a season, it's a time where if we wanted to continue going forward with a joint motorsport type activity, we can assess the end of the season together in November. With Road Legal Four-Wheel Drive, we're able to do, whatever this ends up changing could potentially be what we stick with going forward. So just, again, throwing it out there, no right or wrong answer, but it might be a way to end the season together in unity and charge up for the next season.
Yeah, the only thing in our bylaws, it talks about an annual meeting. But, I mean, we don't have to have the workshops. We could, I mean, nowhere in our bylaws do we have anything about a pandemic. So I think we gotta be flexible on all that.
Could we use our regional meetings as feeders for topics for the annual meeting then? Like Ryan says, if we stuck closer to the end of the season and use those for a buildup for the annual meeting and pull our topics in from there, what's currently going on?
I think all that makes sense. So again, once I shoot a couple dates out and see what they come back with, they wouldn't give me any. It's not that they wouldn't, they're overwhelmed too. Just trying to stay in business and staff, and everybody you talk to is overwhelmed. So, in the moniker of just be nice to people, we'll figure this out.
Well, and also, you know, it's going to take the nation 6 months to figure out this thing and how we're going to go forward with it. And looking at what the CDC is doing and all the other stuff, you know, April meetings, we're still at the tail end of flu season almost every year, regardless.
Right.
November, it's still early. Usually flu season doesn't start hitting until end of December, early January, depending on temps. So I don't know. Always things to consider.
The only thing we always got to bear is the other holiday that's not on the calendar, but for many people, that deer hunting. So we'd have to figure that out. I don't think we can compete with that.
You'll get a hell of a hotel deal if you book it on deer hunting weekend.
Well, that's true. So
Yeah, we would lose half our clientele for sure.
Yeah. What about something in October? Is that still too much trail riding season for the ATV folks?
yeah, that's really probably the prime. Usually goes to the end of October.
A lot of clubs are doing their fall rides, their color rides.
Make a wish.
Make-A-Wish, yeah, some of their benefits.
You know, maybe earlier in November might be something. So those are all things. I just wanted to have something on the table. This is helping immensely as we move the potential possibilities. And guys on the Road Legal 4 Drive, if you guys and gals need to do something differently independently because of all this, we understand. So, if you say, hey, James is on now too. We get that. So don't hesitate to say we got to, because of this whole situation, we got to change this time. So like I say, don't feel obligated that way.
Well, from, you know, the popularity of our stuff getting where it's at, I think it's really, you know, the idea of trying to come together as a motorsports community, to a wheeled motorsports community, really, really touches a lot of feelers here on wanting to do things together and making sure that we're all communicating together. Again, as the UTVs become pretty much Jeeps, there's a lot of commonalities and synergies that we can utilize for some kind of annual meeting. That sure, we have our own separate things that we're doing, but
and I want to. I just didn't want to get the other groups because it changes. If you need to, just know that we'd prefer to do it with. We like the idea, just like you're saying, Ryan. But if things get weird and strange, because trying to coordinate this thing, who the heck knows?
Yeah, I agree with Ryan's comments. Right now, we're new enough yet in our new coalition status that we don't have anything else currently on the agenda. So I still like the approach of all the wheeled sports trying to get together and do something together. I think that's a great idea. So yeah,
Okay.
I'm bored with trying to keep it together.
All right.
That also works with giving the motorcycle group some more time to plan and getting involved as they grow.
That's true.
The other thing too, you know, if you look at that first weekend of November, your avid bull hunters aren't going to be out yet because you got a lot of leaves yet. The other thing is, then we can, we're probably in a better position to start talking to our membership about, hey, April's coming and that's when your grants, or you need to put in your application for your grants, and instead of, when we have our meeting, it's all done, or they should be in. So maybe we can lend more aid to our clubs that way by holding it later and having it fresh in their mind.
Right.
That is though, Greg, that's prime. That's usually the rut is early. That's prime bow season is late October, early November.
Well, and there was discussion within the DNR this year too about moving gun season up 1 week. I don't know where that ever went, but I know there was that discussion.
It didn't happen. It's not in the regs.
Oh, okay. So that's done and over with, that discussion.
Well, I don't think anything's over with. The governor seems to be wielding all kinds of power to do anything he wants. So they might move Christmas, but I don't know.
Well, I'll put it down as a possibility, and I'll see what's available in November, and maybe even the first week in December. I don't know. I like I say, never. Who the heck knows what's going on? But this is helpful. Adam, what's our next screen? Or is that the last one?
It's talking about if this didn't work, we could do virtual conferences. Like I feel like we had a lot of good content for this annual meeting and workshop. I think it'd be beneficial to try to do some of these as a Zoom. People could join. We can still talk about it. Mostly, I'm interested in this, or I want this content for just building a database of videos on the website for clubs to be able to obtain. But that's just one of the options in case we can't get everything to line up and work together.
Well, yeah, and if some of our speakers that we had lined up, presenters, can't make it, then, if we do hold it and they can't make it in person, at least we could have some of this pre-recorded stuff. So I think either way, it would be good to record what we can.
Yeah, and most of the folks that I've talked to were okay with doing a virtual conference if we had to. And if we move it to November, I'm sure they'd be okay with that too, or December. So that gives us more time to actually prepare, and if we do it at the hotel, we can live stream it regardless with a little more time. So that'll work.
Okay. Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
This is Luana. Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Just wondering if possibly what you were talking about earlier was grants. If one of your speakers would be bowing out, you could actually have a workshop on grants and that way encourage more activity in that respect.
Right. In truth, on the ATV side, our grants person was unable to make it when it was still that first weekend in April. We've already recorded her presentation, so it was a good tryout and test. So.
Yeah, and that part of the whole let's build it theme was to actually get clubs on the ATV side the right information on how to apply for grants and the whole process, and make sure they thought through the whole process, not that they submitted a bogus grant. That was the whole driving force behind on our side for that.
Okay. Well, like you say, we'll certainly keep this in like you said, I think we'll do it regardless, meaning start recording some of this stuff, and then if they can make it in person, fine, and if they can't, you can't. So Adam's got the slide up now, and we got this from Greg, and he just mentioned it again. We could do some of the stuff at the regional meetings, assuming we'll be released by then. I was just writing about that in my article about, I think August 1st is the Northeast I think Greg, yours is 2 weeks after, so let's just hope that this thing is licked by then. So that's kind of the contingency plan for regionals. I guess we'll have to see what each day. We're thinking of August. We used to think of this stuff ahead of time, and now we're just wondering what tomorrow's going to bring. So.
Exactly. I think the venue in I've been at both venues in Woodruff and Minocqua, and certainly the venue would lend itself to have video and whatever else. I think we're set there if that was an issue.
Okay.
I
Although
think,
I remember if that's the same place we did our training at, I couldn't even get my cell phone to work in there, but hopefully they got a Wi-Fi.
and I think Ladysmith is looking at using one of their public buildings at the park, so I'd have to talk with Dave, but I think we might be okay there too.
What club is that again, Greg?
The Russ County Riders,
Okay.
and they're talking, they've been in discussion with Ladysmith to use the public park area, so.
Okay. We have another screen, Adam? I forgot what we did.
No, we're just talking about the next thing we need to talk about is the refunds, if we can't move it. So we use Eventbrite to sign up. I have waiting for it to load. I think we had 100 people now, 101 people signed up for Saturday. In total, we gross $1,000 in ticket sales, but of that we keep $829 as the payout. But so when we do talk about refunds, we can refund the amount minus the fees that are going to be that were charged originally. And I did charge, the fees are added on top of the cost of the ticket. They would not be part of the refund, but the rest of the funds would be sent back.
And to be clear, that's not our fee. That's fees that Eventbrite charges for using their software, correct?
Right.
Yep, that's correct. So yeah, Friday night we had 80 tickets sold. Saturday was 101. As far as the actual paid ones go, we had 15 people for a beef sandwich, 4 people for tomato, 5 for turkey, 6 for ham, and 56 people signed up for the dinner.
Are we gonna refund all that, or are we gonna just leave it and ask people if they can't come to the new one to get a refund?
Well, if we reschedule, we don't get charged anything, and the tickets just carry over. If they can't make the rescheduled date, they can request a refund.
Okay.
Or we can do it manually on the backside. I fear that some of the people will have trouble canceling, so they can send us an email and we can do it on our end. But I've already had to process 1 cancellation request. So it's just a thing they click and they can do it on their side.
My early indication or thinking is most people will say, hey, if you're going to reschedule it, just keep it on the books till then. But I know that Greg, the Dusty Trail Finders, I think their club bought quite a few of them. So that's their club money they use. So they may or may not. But like I say, we'll put that out on the press release saying, just let us know what you want to do. It's available if you want it, or if you want to put it toward the new, the reschedule one, whenever that is, we can leave it right.
And being able to get a reschedule to some of these folks who used services like Priceline, where you can't get a refund, and the amount of fees to cancel it equal or greater to whatever the actual reservation was. So I know, like, our secretary, Tammy, she used Priceline and she's out $300 no matter what. So maybe if we can move it, that would be a savior. I don't know on Priceline if you can move them and not have a charge on it, but the sooner we get people a date, the better that would be. And then for future things, I wasn't aware that Eventbrite doesn't refund if you cancel or refund. we always use PayPal. So if we cancel an event and refund through PayPal, PayPal also refunds the fee. So the customer or the client or the rider doesn't ever see a charge or gets the full refund back. So those are things to always look at in the future. Granted, it wasn't a big amount, but
Yeah, the reason we use Eventbrite is it was easier to issue tickets and other reasons that PayPal couldn't do. So
Yeah, it gave us the roster, the tickets, all the back end stuff that makes the actual meeting day go so smoothly.
right. But if you are not going to give them a full refund, that's a hit against us,
Right.
from a customer service side. You get, again, it's a few bucks. It's not a big deal, but mentality wise, from a customer service standpoint wise, that's a hit against us.
My initial thought is a $5 subsidized meal gets whacked a little. I don't think anybody who could predict what's going on? So
There might be some exceptions made as far as charges go, or anyhow in this specific circumstance that we're not even aware of at this point.
Yeah, the Eventbrite people have been sending emails, and they're still charging the fees. They're trying to get people to reschedule, not cancel.
So like I say, if they reschedule, then we're in good shape. And well, anyway, we'll get all those details. Adam was just trying to find it today because never thought we'd have to reschedule. So I see we've picked up, I mentioned James before, and it looks like we got Michelle on here too.
I think you mean Helen.
Oh, well, it says on here, it says Michelle. I don't know where. Oh, that's yours. Helen, yours comes under sound checks. I don't know what that means.
Oh, that's sound check is provider in Pulaski here with cell phone service. So maybe that's it.
All right. So introduce yourself, Helen.
I'm Helen Wagner. I'm currently the president of Wisconsin Four-Wheel Drive Association, which will be merging with WOVA into the Wisconsin Four-Wheel Drives Coalition.
Okay. And then Michelle, I think you're or whoever's that is, are you on? You see that at the bottom, Ryan and Adam?
Yeah, that's Michelle, our secretary,
Okay.
I'm assuming.
And then James, say hi, James. He's you're on mute as well. But you can take your, there you go.
Hey, I'm still here.
Introduce yourself, James, officially.
What do I call myself? James Levoy, and playing over here, helping Ryan with the Madison area group over here, Southwest Overlanders.
Okay. Well, thanks, guys. Did we have does anybody else have a topic they want to bring up with the whole group here that related to this? We haven't hit.
Just through our business, we're looking for our rally crew, not going back out till Sturgis. We're canceling Arizona Bike Week, the beginning of April, probably canceling Myrtle Beach, Laconia, and Americade don't look like they're going to go, so it looks like it's going to be Sturgis before our rally truck goes back out.
What month is Sturgis in? Is that August or July?
End of July, beginning of August. So that's what everybody's kind of telling us.
Okay. Well, like I say, this gives me enough information now I need to get a release out to people. We won't be able to give them dates yet, but enough information to contact the hotel and start giving them a few of these dates and see if it's an option, and we'll just make it work. All right. You want to keep anybody unless you got something else?
I have one question. So people who have reservations at the hotel, should
I'm
they
sorry, yeah, you came in later.
cancel?
Adam, go back up to that slide. Can you see the slide there?
Luana, when I called to cancel my reservation yesterday, I was told that since the whole convention was canceled, that all reservations were canceled. So
Yeah, and that's what they told us as well. I think what I'll put in there is I was telling everybody else who wanted at the beginning here that I'll put the contact information that we have for the hotel, that if a person wants to check, they can shoot an email to them or call her, but just to double confirm that it's been canceled. But they told us that too. I thought they were going to send an email, and I haven't seen an email, so they must have just did it.
unless you have your confirmation number, they won't be able to find you. I didn't have mine with me when I called last night, and I was on the hold for like 5-10 minutes, but then she found it. So.
Okay. Right, and then for folks that are staying, I know we had quite a few people because of that. The hotel was full. We redid our block, I think twice, if not 3 times, but then that basketball tournament came up and they were holding out for higher rates. So we had a lot of people that were down in Clover at the Super 8 and other hotels, so they obviously have to do their own cancellation. So in all the groups, we need to tell our folks, if your responsibility for your rooms has got to be on you. They told us, I think the hotel, if they booked under that block, you should be in good shape. But if you want to check, here's the contact info. Okay, anything else?
Yeah, Randy, I just want to take the opportunity to thank you for inviting the 4-wheel drive community into this convention. I think it's a great thing. And, the OHM guys, I think, Ryan hit it on the head with the wheeled motorsports community really coming together. So I think this is a great step going forward for all of us to partner together. And I just want to thank you for that opportunity.
Oh, you're welcome. It was a group decision, so you're most welcome. Okay, parting from anybody else? No. I don't know if we go on a conference call, nobody accuses of having more than 10 people in the room at the same time. All right. Well, thank everybody.
Thank you, Randy.
Randy.
Yes.